Welcome to Fog of Work. Here's a hard truth. The job market isn't tough by accident. It's been rigged against you. And if you've been feeling like you're screaming into the void with every job application, you are not imagining it. There is a reason your qualifications don't matter, your experience gets ignored, and your time is treated like it's disposable. Later in this video, I'll tell you the real reason some companies post jobs they never intend to fill, and why your resume may never be seen by a human at all. Let's dig into why finding a job feels like a full-time job you are not getting paid for, and why the game has been stacked against you all along. You've seen them, ghost jobs and the illusion of opportunity. Dozens of job postings that look real. But they're not. Companies are listing jobs they have no intention of filling. Sometimes it's to collect resumes, just in case they need someone later. Sometimes it's to make it look like the company is growing, or to keep current employees from leaving, believing there is hiring momentum. It's not speculation. Recruiters have admitted it. Entire roles are created to pipeline talent or fulfill internal policy, not to actually hire. These ghost jobs waste your time and drain your energy, and they're everywhere. Sometimes they even repost positions they previously laid people off from. Full-time jobs get replaced with temporary contracts or outsourced gigs with no benefits. It's all about optics. Create the illusion of growth while quietly shrinking the workforce. Ever apply for a job that suddenly vanished without a trace? Yeah, it probably never existed in the first place. And just when you think it can't get worse, you get your hopes up with a real opportunity, only to be thrown into the next trap. Let's talk about fake promises and endless hoops. Let's say you actually land an interview. Great, right? Until you realize you're on round 6. You've done unpaid assessments, maybe even a project. You've met the entire team. It's down to final decisions. Then suddenly, the role disappears. Or they go in another direction. You gave them your time, your ideas, your effort, and they took it all without giving anything back. Sometimes they even use your ideas internally. Free labor disguised as an interview process. The worst part? They act like you should be grateful. Grateful for the opportunity to compete. Grateful for a chance. But this isn't opportunity. It's exploitation, masked with a smile and a company slogan about innovation. If you've ever walked away from an interview feeling used, you're not alone. And even if you survive the gauntlet, there is another wall waiting. AI is blocking you before a human ever sees your name. The applicant tracking system, or ATS, is the first wall. It scans your resume for keywords and filters out anyone who doesn't meet its rigid logic. You could be a perfect fit, but if your resume doesn't match its script, you're out. No human ever sees your name. And now AI isn't just filtering resumes, it's conducting interviews, pre-screening with emotionless avatars, judging you on vocal tone, keywords, and algorithmic guesses. It's not about potential, it's about compliance. And the system is stacked against you. The tools that claim to remove bias are just shifting it into code. And that code is written by the same people who built the broken hiring systems in the first place. So we're trusting machines with our futures. Machines trained on the same flawed data that made us invisible to begin with. So if you're wondering why you're not getting a call back, it might be because a bot didn't like your font. Even if you make it past the machines, the rules of the game still make no sense. Let's look at the entry-level jobs that require a lifetime of experience. Entry-level must have 3 to 5 years of experience. Sound familiar? It's everywhere now. Jobs that used to be a foot in the door are now gated behind unrealistic expectations. Companies no longer want to train. They want plug-and-play employees who can hit the ground running with no support. The result? A paradox. You can't get a job without experience, and you can't get experience without a job. And employers don't care, because there are 500 other resumes waiting behind yours. Worse, some employers are inflating their requirements intentionally to avoid hiring altogether. They post impossible wish lists knowing that no one will ever match them. That way they can say, "We tried to hire," while never adding headcount. Ever feel like the job was never meant for anyone to get? That's because it wasn't. And that leads us to something even more dangerous, the total breakdown of trust. What we are facing is the collapse of trust in the hiring process. Companies ghost you. They cancel interviews. They pull offers days before your start date. They republish your role as a lower-paying contract gig, all while claiming they care about people. Hiring has become a performance, a box-ticking exercise for compliance, not a pathway to talent. Behind the scenes, hiring managers change their minds, cancel requisitions, and delay decisions endlessly. You're just another email in the queue. No explanation, no closure, just silence. And let's not forget internal candidates. Some companies run full external searches knowing that their role is already promised to someone inside. They pause jobs for legal compliance, wasting the time of hundreds of candidates who never had a chance to begin with. How do you trust a process that never even intended to include you? Still think there are plenty of jobs out there? Let's look at the truth behind the numbers. This is all part of the real labor market shrinking. On paper, jobs are up. In reality, many of those openings are part-time, temporary, or poorly paid. Others are placeholders. Meanwhile, mass layoffs continue. Recruiters, tech workers, HR staff, finance, roles across every industry are being cut. Remote work? Drying up. Companies are quietly forcing return to the office mandates. Hybrid roles are disappearing. Job seekers who moved out of cities for remote life are now stuck. Less opportunity, more competition. And then there is AI and automation, replacing not just factory work, but analysts, writers, designers, and support staff. Companies are slowing hiring because they are betting on software to do the job. Even the jobs that survive are being restructured. Teams are asked to do more with less, burnout is normalized, vacancies remain open not to be filled, but to justify unrealistic expectations on the remaining workers. What's left is a labor market with fewer real options, and even fewer that actually pay the bills. And now let's talk about the lie we've all been sold since we were kids. You might think your degree would help, but the truth is, education no longer guarantees anything. You went to school, maybe even got a degree, and now you're in debt, applying for jobs that pay less than a living wage. Because the system lied. College was supposed to be your ticket. Instead, it became a toll booth. Degrees are everywhere now, so they don't set you apart. And many programs teach theory, not practical skills. Even if you do everything right, you're still told you're missing one tool, need more experience, or overqualified. The truth? Employers don't want to train anymore, and they don't want to pay for experience either. So you're left in limbo, either underqualified or too expensive. It's a trap with no middle ground. And yet they still tell us, go back to school, upskill, do more. For what? Behind it all is a system with one true motive, and it's not your growth. So what's really driving this? It's corporate greed, not corporate need. Hiring isn't just about talent anymore. It's about money, optics, and shareholder expectations. Companies lay off thousands to boost stock prices, then claim labor shortages weeks later. Executives make millions while canceling your job offer to optimize costs. HR systems are bloated with red tape. Applications get lost, interviews drag on, feedback is rare. An entire process is designed to filter, not to connect. Meanwhile, the same CEOs that gutted departments are on stage at conferences talking about culture, vision, and people-first leadership. It's all branding. What matters is profit. Always has. So no, you are not overthinking it. The system is exploiting you. And if you have started to blame yourself, you are not alone. If you are doubting yourself, remember this. It's not you. It's the system. If you've been rejected, ghosted, or ignored, it's easy to blame yourself. To think you're not smart enough, fast enough, good enough. But the truth is, the job market was not built for your success. It was built to extract your time, your energy, your hope. And you're not alone. Millions are facing the same wall, the same silence, the same confusion, and it's not because we're lazy or entitled. It's because the system is broken by design. The goalposts keep moving, and every setback is framed as your personal failure instead of what it really is, a rigged game with no winners. Still think it's just you? It never was. So if the system is this broken, what do you actually do? You might be wondering, what now? The reality is harsh, but the first step is clarity. Knowing that this isn't your fault is power, that this isn't personal, it's structural. You may not be able to change the entire market, but you can change how you move through it. Build skills that can be automated. Create value outside of titles. Focus on real relationships, not online portals. Look for ways to create your own income, your own worth, because waiting for the system to reward you for playing by the rules is a trap. Find communities that think differently. Question the old playbooks. Trust your own experience over corporate narratives. Because if you're feeling disillusioned, it's for a reason. And it means you're waking up. You're not broken. You're just awake in a world that wants you numb. Looking for a job today feels like shouting into the void. But you're not crazy. You're not incompetent. You're not alone. This isn't just your job search. It's a reflection of a system that no longer works. A system that chews up talent, discards loyalty, and disguises scarcity as opportunity. But when you see it for what it is, and when you stop blaming yourself, you start finding new ways forward. If this message hit home, you're not just a viewer. You're a part of something bigger. Subscribe to Fog of Work. Watch the other videos. Share your story in the comments. Because every time we speak up, the fog gets thinner. We're not just surviving, we're learning how to break free. Let's keep going together.